Why don't you wear a smartwatch? Why do you care so much about this outdated thing? If you're a watch nerd like me, you most likely will have been asked these questions. And in this video, I'm going to respond to them. Here are 5 reasons to wear a mechanical watch in these modern times. Compare a watch to an iPhone. If today they stopped manufacturing new annual upgrades and instead made us use the same phone for the next 3 years, what do you think would happen? Today's mindset is new is better, new is fresh, new is practical. We measure the quality of a tech brand by how fast they can churn out new products. And this goes beyond cell phones. Even vacuum cleaners nowadays seem to break faster than they used to. But watches live in a whole different world. They go in the opposite way of mainstream consumerism. And the proof of that is in the fact that you measure the quality of a watch brand by how long lasting they are, not by how fast they keep coming up with new stuff. In fact, this is one industry where people seem to get frustrated when brands give them too many choices. Okay, yeah, it's not like they don't keep releasing new products, but the technology is the same as it was several decades ago. This is why, regardless of whether you wear a 1950s vintage watch or a modern vintage inspired watch, you can get the same enjoyment out of it. And that is totally the opposite case with everything else we own. When things get old, we toss them away and get new ones. But the older a watch gets, the more character it builds, the more we feel connected to it. So not everyone gets it, but once you get it, it's impossible to turn the other way. The second reason is kind of a continuation of the first reason. With watches, the more you wear it, the more you love it. When you first buy it, there's no emotional attachment to it, except the money you just lost. Traditional watches are unintended vessels of memories. I don't buy watches that I see at the shop window just because I like them. I research, learn about the brand, carefully imagine how it would suit my lifestyle, what strap would go with it. Once I've made my decision on what watch to get next, I only pull the trigger when I reach a milestone. This is quite a recent strategy, but it's the one that I've realized works for me the best. I don't own a lot of watches, but the ones I wear the most and would never sell are the ones that are attached to a specific moment in my life. Now, I'm not saying you need to follow the same strategy, but this is just one example of how watches can become sentimental objects. Beyond their marketing, beyond trends, beyond brand heritage, when you love a watch and you wear it, regardless of its price, it can create an unexpected bond between a person and a machine. Watch prices have been going up in the recent years, with some retailing for almost twice of what they cost not too long ago. And we can try and justify these hikes by blaming inflation, rising costs of materials, lack of watchmakers, etc. But as collectors, it sucks. Lucky for us, this has left a gap in the market that is now being filled by microbrands. And that's good because before that, it was being filled with fakes and cheaply made fashion watches that seemed to disintegrate when they made contact with the skin. Microbrands are the new kid in the industry. They're not quite up there with the independents where they would normally be heavily involved in the watchmaking process, nor are they part of a larger group with big budgets allocated for expensive marketing and considerable inventories. They're tiny, often operated by a single person, in partnership with movement manufacturers, suppliers, and designers. And because they don't have a manufacturing facility with several watchmakers under their employ, and nor are they producing thousands of watches and selling them at a global scale through multiple retailers, they can keep their prices low while offering a decent product. In an age of smartphones and laptops in every room of the house, wristwatches have become a luxury, non-essentials. We have not had a wall clock in our apartments since we moved in. But then again, I've got watches lying around the house everywhere. But because most of them are mechanical and need to be worn or hand wound on a regular basis, they're not all active, which frustrates my wife. And she says, what's the point of having watches when they can't even tell the time? But it's not that these watches can't tell the time when you need them to. It's that I'm an unorganized mess. The fact that I have 15 watches around the house, all displaying different times, tells you more about me as a person than the quality of the watches. And this is a thing that many people don't understand. Watches can be useful. Battery operated quartz or mechanical, they are complex tools made to do one simple task: tell the time. Some do it more accurately than others, but these tools are far more reliable than you think. Yes, my phone can tell the time, but I don't want to keep looking at my phone every few minutes. I don't want to be distracted by notifications or texts while I'm focused on being productive or just taking a break from the screen, which isn't easy to do in this day and age. God, I've become such a salesman. Lastly, watches are just fun. It's as simple as that. While we do wear watches for their utilitarian factor, we've kind of enabled their use today because of the joy that they give us.
For me, this makes me smile.
What he said. The watch enthusiast community, the watch fam on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook is such a great community. In many cases, the price tag just disappears. It's such a fun community to be a part of. But there's also so much more than that. There's the story, the history, and the heritage of older brands and how they were at the beginning, when the accuracy of pocket watches could mean the difference between life and death. The romance of how an invention that was made 100, 200 years ago is still being studied today, still being evolved. But even with newer brands that don't have a long history, there's the story of the founders, the inspiration that drove them to create these beloved timepieces. Is there any other reason I've missed? Let me know in the comments. Also, do subscribe if you haven't already. It's a great way to support our channel and help us grow and build this community of enthusiasts. Also, do check out Red Army Watch's website if you're looking for a new watch. I'll link it down in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.